The Cardinals just got swept by the Seattle Mariners, and I'm not really, worried, angry about it because as I record this, it is April 27th. And there are still 5 months left of the baseball season where anything can happen. I mean, right now, the Phillies are in last place in the NL East. Who had that on their bingo card? The Mets went on a streak where they lost 11 games in a row. Who had that on their bingo card? There are many things that can happen throughout the course of a 162 game season. And a lot of times, people forget that those 162 games are played in just about 180 days. You only have not even 3 weeks worth of off days, and that includes the All-Star break. So not a lot of people realize that, and a lot of people tend to overreact. And so today I'm talking about fan reaction when it comes to the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't know if this is like this for every other fan base, but when it comes to baseball and when it comes to the average fan and when it comes to St. Louis Cardinals fans in particular, I feel a lot of fans have a hard time coming to terms with just how long and how much of a grind 162 games really is. I feel some of these fans may only watch, or they may be a casual baseball enjoyer, but they primarily watch the NBA or they primarily watch the NFL, where you don't have as many games. It's still a grind, and I'm not taking anything away from playing 17 NFL games or 82 NBA games. It's still a grind, and the season lasts almost just as long. But in all fairness, it is nothing compared to a 162 game season where you have minimal off days over the course of nearly 6 months. I'm going to play for you some clips. These clips come from KMOX's Extra Innings show. For those of you who don't know, I work at the flagship station for the Cardinals radio network. That would be KMOX. And after the post-game show that airs over the Cardinals radio network, we have a local post-game show called the Extra Innings show, where KMOX listeners and other fans of the Cardinals from across the Midwest can call in and comment their concerns and questions about the team, especially concerning the game that followed. The stream that I'm about to play took place after the Saturday game against the Mariners, which was an absolute slugfest in which the Cardinals lost 11-9. There were a lot of positives in that game you saw from the Cardinals offense, but it was once again, you were also facing against a team that nearly made the World Series last year. So is it a shame that you lost that game? Yes. But are you mad because of who you lost to? I'm not really that mad. But a lot of people were. And I'm going to get to some of their comments here today.
Drop us a line, and we are happy to talk about it. We already have a comment from Jeremy Hodge, who says, just simply, bullpen is so bad.
I've seen this comment so many times this year. The bullpen is so bad. And at first glance, yes, the bullpen has been awful. It hasn't been good. And I'm not going to deny that. But this is still not a reason to panic. Because I do want to preface this as well. I don't know if any of you heard anything that Chaim Bloom or Bill DeWitt or Oliver Marmol threw out during preseason. They are in a rebuild. Like, they have openly used the word transition. They've openly used the word rebuild. Fans want this team to succeed, and that's great for the fans. But in terms of the front office and the objective for what this season is going to be, there's no clear goal. There's no clear goal. Of course, the team wants to win. They want to compete. They're going to try to win every day, but there's no real expectations. Like, if you don't make the postseason, they're not going to consider this season a failure. They're not going to consider the season a failure because this is a season of learning what you have. A lot of the talent that you have coming up in the minors is a couple years away, and you want to set the tone, set the path for what you have going forward. People also seemingly forget that last year, the bullpen was a legitimate strength of this team. It was a legitimate strength. Riley O'Brien looked really, really good. Jojo Romero looked really, really good. People forget, even though he's struggling right now, Matt Swanson was 2 times better than the league average pitcher and had a 1.94 ERA in his rookie season. And people forget that he is now a second-year player, and the league has adjusted to him. Because you know what? That's what hitters do. That's what leagues do. That's what teams do. People were wondering why they couldn't hit Matt Swanson last year, and they figured it out. And maybe there's, there's it's a mixture of adjustments and, there's some mechanical issues going on with Swanson. But keep in mind, it's April and you don't want to send a guy down this early in the season because it will just mess up his confidence. Maybe there's something wrong with his confidence and you need to get his confidence back up. Know that he can get those scoreless outings like he was getting last year. Sending a guy down to AAA just this early in the season just shows, yeah, we don't believe in you. We made a mistake in putting you on the opening day roster. They're not going to make any moves like that until May, until possibly even early June. I always say, wait until Memorial Day. Memorial Day is when you'll actually figure out what this team is actually going to look like. What it's going to look like from a hitting perspective, what it's going to look like from a pitching perspective. You'll know by then what the identity of this team really is, and the things that this team will have to work on throughout the course of the year if they want to compete for either a division title or a World Series championship.
A couple more comments. Aaron says, another great game by the Dusty Blake pitching staff, and he says Ollie and Heim are okay with the pitching staff. Well, I guess we'll wait and see, Aaron, if that's the case.
So that's the next thing. People see players on the team perform bad, and they think, oh, well, I guess Ollie and Heim are just okay with us sucking. Let's take a step back. Is it true that there haven't been a lot of people on the pitching staff performing well this year? Absolutely. But once again, I reiterate this statement. No one is doing a fire sale, other than the Boston Red Sox, on April 27th. April 27th. The Cardinals have played 27 games. They've played 27 games, and they are currently in a stretch where they play 17 games in a row without an off day. They just went 3 against Seattle. They have 4 more in Pittsburgh against the Pirates. They then go 3 at home against the Dodgers, 3 at home against the Brewers, and then another 4 in San Diego against the Padres. This is a really tough stretch for this. Listen to this. Just keep in mind, Seattle last year was a game away from making the World Series last year. Pittsburgh always plays us tough, and they have insane pitching. You're going to be getting Mason Montgomery on Monday, Bubba Chandler on Tuesday, Paul Skeens on Wednesday, and then Mitch Culler, who has always pitched us tough, on Thursday. And we actually just got word that Hunter Dobbins will be making his first start of the season on Thursday for the Cardinals against Pittsburgh. And then when it comes to Los Angeles, you're going to miss Ohtani on the mound, but you're still going to have to face Robleski. You're going to have to face Roki Sasaki. You're going to have to face Emmett Sheehan. And then when Milwaukee comes to town, their pitching's always tough. You got to face Brandon Woodruff and Jacob Mizorowski. And when you go to San Diego, there's going to be a chance that you're going up against the most dominant pitcher right now in the game in Mason Miller. You're probably going to find yourself in a situation like that. The Cardinals have been really good this year in one-score games up until this point. They were 5-0 in one-run games up until this point. They've lost their last 2 one-run games. And you know why? It's because Seattle is really good. They're a really good team. Seattle is a team that is much better than their record shows. They were, I believe, were 4 games under 500 entering that series. They are now a game under 500 after sweeping the Cardinals, and I believe they've now won 4 in a row. A lot of people forget that the Cardinals are in a rebuild. This is a rebuild season. So there are going to be points of a rebuild that don't look good. There's going to be points of rebuild that look ugly. We all want the team to succeed. I want the team to succeed. Ali Marmol wants the team to succeed. Chaim Bloom wants the team to succeed. But they have openly said, this is a rebuild. There are going to be points of the season that look ugly. And on Saturday, I don't understand what was really to complain much on Saturday, other than the fact that we lost the game. You were going up against one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball in Brian Wu, who entered the game with a 2.2 ERA and had not allowed a single home run prior to that start in 30 innings. The Cardinals tagged him for 7 runs in 3 innings, and they hit 4 home runs off of him. I mean, the offense did its job, but then you look at the bullpen, and yeah, it was a mess. It was definitely a mess. The Mariners used 5 pitchers that game, and that was the difference in the game. That was the difference in the game, is that the Mariners bullpen was able to minimize the damage. The only other damage came from pitcher Cooper Criswell, who pitched 2 innings of relief, and the Cardinals got 2 runs off of him in the 7th inning. But other than that, Farrer pitched 2 scoreless innings in relief of Brian Wu. Matt Brash pitched a scoreless 8th inning, and Andres Munoz, who had been struggling to start the year. Let's not forget, guys, he's one of the best closers in Major League Baseball. He has some of the nastiest stuff in Major League Baseball, throws a 100-mile-an-hour sinker with movement. You know, he's absolutely nasty. And the Cardinals, they used 8 pitchers this game. They used pretty much every pitcher in their bullpen, I believe, except for Ryan Fernandez. Gordon Graceffo gave up a run in 2/3 in relief of Matthew Liberatore. Justin Brule had a scoreless inning. Ryan Stanek threw 2/3 in an inning. He had a scoreless frame. George Soriano gave up a run off 2 hits and struck out 1. Jojo Romero had his first really bad outing, and Riley O'Brien had his first really bad outing. That was one of his first blown saves of the season through 39 pitches. And it was just one of those days. The ball was flying, pitchers couldn't pitch, and there are just days like that in Major League Baseball. And it doesn't matter how bad the bullpen is. There are like even if streaks start to happen, like even if we get on a hot streak, there's going to be a day where the bullpen just doesn't have their stuff, where every pitcher just doesn't have their stuff for both teams. And that was today. I mean, Nathan Church hit 2 home runs in that game. When are you going to see Nathan Church have a 2-homer game again? I understand he homered again on Saturday. He's having a really big power surge right now. Pedro Pages hit a homer. He got pulled from the game. Weatherholt and Herrera went back to back to lead off the first inning after Liberatore gave up 2 runs in the first. What are you going to do? I mean, like, what realistically are you going to do in this scenario? And I saw a lot of comments. I didn't show them in this stream, but a lot of comments were saying, by the way, the Cardinals are in last place in their division, by the way, or nearly in last place. And I guess the manager and the president of baseball operations are okay with that. Do you want to know what the National League Central looks like right now? Because they're doing better than every single division in Major League Baseball. Let me look at the full standings. So for reference, currently in the American League, you have 5 teams with a winning record. In the National League Central, all 5 teams have a winning record. You have the Milwaukee Brewers, who, by the way, won, I believe, 97 games last year. They currently sit tied for us in last place, tied for the Cardinals at 14-13. Oh no, bummer. A rebuilding team is a game above 500 in late April, and we're nearly in last place in our division. Bummer. Keep in mind, a 14-13 record would be a game back in the AL Central from the Tigers and Guardians. The Tigers, by the way, are many people consider World Series contenders. 14-13 would be a better record than the Seattle Mariners. It would be a better record than the Texas Rangers. 14-13 is currently a better record than the defending AL champion Toronto Blue Jays. It's a better record than the Philadelphia Phillies. It's a better record than the New York Mets. So, like, just shut up. Shut up about record. Record does not mean everything. I understand 14-13, like, this is a rebuilding team, but keep in mind, the Pirates are also considered rebuilding. They're 16-12. They're 16-12, and we got to face them. We're a game and a half back of them. This is the first division series that the Cardinals have played all year, so this is a very big matchup. And the Cubs are 17-11. They've gone on a massive winning streak. And the Reds sit at 18-10. They're only a game back of the Dodgers. They're tied. The Reds currently have the same record as the New York Yankees at 18-10, a game back of the Dodgers, a game and a half back of the Atlanta Braves for the best record in all of Major League Baseball. So let's calm down for a second. In terms of if you were to look at the wild card standings, the Cardinals sit a game and a half back of the final wild card spot, which currently belongs to the Pittsburgh Pirates. I got to reiterate enough. This is a rebuild season. Now, this doesn't mean by any means that it's a throwaway season. It doesn't matter. There's a lot to take away from this season. This season, is the main objective of this season is to see what you have with your current lineup and pitching staff. That is what you are. You are looking to see what you have out of guys like Jordan Walker, what Mason Wynn can look like after he had a really good breakout year last year, what Jordan Walker, if he can continue his very historic start, which he's on a downturn right now, but he's still playing really, really good baseball. You got to see what Nathan Church looks like in the outfield, and he's looking really good. You got to see if Ivan Herrera can pick it up, which he has been. You got to see if Alec Burleson can maintain his silver slugger capabilities. And then you look at the pitching staff, and you look at guys like Riley O'Brien. You look at guys like Michael McGreevy. You're looking at guys like Gordon Graceffo. You're looking at all your young starting pitching and seeing what you have. You know, when we signed guys like Dustin May, it wasn't because we thought that Dustin May was going to be the guy to hoist the commissioner's trophy. No, Dustin May was on a prove-it deal, a one-year prove-it deal on a rebuilding team. It's exactly what he needed. And if he was pitching well, there was going to be a chance that we would trade him at the deadline. And even if the Cardinals are performing well at the deadline, I doubt they're going to be buying. A lot of teams are going to want, a lot of people are going to want them to buy at the deadline, regardless of how they're doing. But if we're doing really good, I would be shocked if we sold our farm system, because we're in year one of this plan, this vision that Chaim Bloom has in store for the organization. And you have guys in the minor leagues like Rainel Rodriguez, like Joshua Baez, Tink Hence, Quinn Matthews, Liam Doyle. You have guys who are like that, who are waiting to get called up into the majors, and they probably won't get called up until next year or the year after or the year after that. I think what it all comes down to is that Cardinal fans have been blessed enough that they've kind of don't understand what the word rebuild really means, because they've never experienced one before. This is new territory for the organization in this century. The last time this really even happened was in the 1990s, when the Cardinals were in that transitional period before Mark McGwire got there, and the whole steroid era and the home run race went berserk in 1998. But it really wasn't a rebuild. The Cardinals were just mediocre for that time period. And for the last 3 years, the Cardinals haven't necessarily been in a full-blown rebuild, a full-blown tear-it-down state. They've just been a mediocre franchise. And that understandably does frustrate some fans, because the Cardinals are one of the most prestigious organizations in Major League Baseball. With 11 World Series championships, they set a standard for winning and greatness. But it hasn't been like that over the last few years. And that's why a lot of fans are upset. But I feel that a lot of those fans who are upset don't actually care enough about the game and only care enough about the win and loss record. You know, they don't care about the actual plan. They need to trust the process. It's going to be a long process. It's going to be a long process. You know, you're going to have to wait a season or two before you might see this team really, really compete. And besides, even if this team wins, let's say 84 games, which I think would be a massive win for this season, even if we miss the playoffs, if we win 84 games, I think that's a massive, massive W for this organization. This is still a very fun team to watch. You got a lot of fun guys on this team. Like Riley O'Brien is a very fun pitcher to watch. He is one of the most electric closers in Major League Baseball. He's coming up on that path. Right now, he has a 1.26 ERA in 14 and a third innings. He's leading the team in WAR with a 0.7. He's 3-1 on the year. And he has a ERA plus of 3.13. 3.13. Do you know how absurd that is? That means he is 3 times better than the average pitcher in Major League Baseball this season, which is absurd. I don't know if he'll hold up that standard all year, but I mean, it's pretty damn crazy. And then another guy that I'm glad is finally getting some love and respect is Gordon Graceffo. He's looking like they want him to be the guy who's the bridge, the successful bridge guy for the Cardinals this season. And he has been a very good pitcher in that regard. He has a 1.26 ERA. You know, he's been really, really solid out of the Cardinal bullpen. He's been very solid out of the Cardinal bullpen. And then obviously you have Michael McGreevy, who a lot of people loved when he first got called up in 2024, and he had those couple starts where he was absolutely fantastic. And in 2026, he's having an amazing start to the season. He has an ERA under 3. He's not getting a lot of swing and miss, but that's just the guy he is. But he's been the best. You have a pitching staff that is all pitch to contact, but he is the best at getting the weak contact. If you get the weak contact, it's very effective. Very, very effective. And I want to point out something that happened on Sunday's game where the Cardinals lost 3-2, because it was very, very shocking that how a lot of people really interpreted this. And I just felt it was really unfair how people interpreted this. So McGreevy had an incredible outing. He went 6 innings, 1 run on 6 Ks, didn't walk anybody. He had a very great outing and a quality start. Matt Swanson comes in for the 7th because he was one of the only few relievers that was going to be available for this game, since the Cardinals used 8 pitchers the day prior. So Matt Swanson comes in. Matt Swanson comes into the game, and he gets Luke Raley to fly out. He gets Dominic Canzone to ground out. So he gets the first 2 outs relatively quickly, and then Connor Joe comes to the plate. Connor Joe hits a double to left field that came off the bat at 67 miles per hour. 67 miles per hour. And that is considered very weak contact. That's just that's unlucky. It's just unlucky. And then after that, Cole Young was jammed on a pitch, yet he got a single to right, scoring Connor Joe, making it a tie game at 2. And that was ultimately the pretty big difference maker in the game. That was a big difference in the game. And then he got Alfonso Rivas to strike out swinging, ending the inning. But I thought he had a really good outing. He got the first 2 outs relatively quickly. He gave up weak contact to Connor Joe, got unlucky. And then he gave up another weak contact hit to Cole Young and got unlucky again. There's really not much that you can do to control that. There's not much you can do to control that. That's just very unlucky as a pitcher. And then he got the swing and miss, he got the strikeout. So I think Swanson's, even though he gave up a run, I hope that Swanson took that as like, okay, I think I'm getting my stuff back. My command was doing better. His command was really good. He was hitting his spots. He was getting everything that he wanted, but it was unlucky for him. And a lot of people were saying that Swanson needs to get sent down. Someone was texting me and saying that Swanson needed to get sent down because this is ridiculous. I'm like, dude, it's April. It's late April. If you send a guy down now, his confidence that's like starting to come up is just going to go all the way back down. That's what the Cardinals did with Jordan Walker. When they sent him down for AAA for like 3 months and then brought him back up again and then sent him down again, do you know the confidence that does to a guy who's only 21, 22 years old in the big leagues? He was starting to think that he doesn't belong here. Now, after his incredible start to the season, he knows he belongs here. You have to get pitchers, and especially pitchers who are this young and this early into their career, to think that they belong in the majors. If you get Matt Swanson thinking he does not belong in the majors, he will not touch his 1.94 ERA that he did. So the worst thing the Cardinals can do right now is send him down. If you want to send him down come Memorial Day, if he's still pitching like this, then that's probably something that you're going to have to do in order to improve the morale of the team and to improve the pitching staff. Because by Memorial Day, if stuff isn't improving, something really is going wrong with how he's doing. But I just wanted to rant about that because average fans just kind of piss me off in certain ways. But anyways, today the Cardinals kick off a 4-game series in Pittsburgh. Dustin May takes the mound for the Cardinals. He's had 3 really good starts back to back to back. They'll go up against Mason Montgomery. The left-hander is 1-0 with a 3.97 ERA. Cardinals lineup has already been announced. J.J. Weatherholt leading off, playing second base. Ivan Herrera, the DH, batting second. Alec Burleson will play first and hit third, with Jordan Walker hitting cleanup in right field. Nolan Gorman will play third base, bat fifth. Mason Wynn back in the lineup. He will play short and bat sixth. Batting seventh is Nathan Church in center field. Thomas Jacey in the lineup. He will play left field, and Pedro Paez will bat ninth and do the catching. So that's it. It's a 4-game series, first division series of the year for the Cardinals, and it's in Pittsburgh against the Pirates. I'll be talking about the first 2 games on Wednesday as the Cardinals prepare to take on Paul Skeens by then. So we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.